Sections that held up traffic, a scene we haven't seen for nearly a year, and it returned to downtown Louisville tonight as a small group of protesters marched on this major anniversary in the Breonna-Taylor case. 1 year ago, a large crowd was in Jefferson Square to watch Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron announce no charges for most of the officers involved in the Breonna-Taylor raid. The protests that followed headed into the Highlands and downtown. 2 LMPD officers were shot that night 1 year ago. Both have recovered. And then tonight, Jefferson Square Park downtown was once again the site of a rally and a march that went through the streets of downtown Louisville. People telling us their fight for justice and change still isn't over. WHS 1119 photojournalist Jessica Farley covers their message.
I remember it being so quiet and just a still, eerie feeling, and we waited. Once that verdict came through, the tears that fell from my face and how broke my heart was and how disappointed I was. Coming out here today is in honor of her life, and it's in mourning. I have a lot of memories here, some bad, some good. We were shot at down here. We lost Tyler Gerth down here. People have been killed along the way that stood with us, and so when we come down here, we can't help but to think about all that. But we also built a sense of community. We do remember the power of the people. We remember the power that we had when we marched in these streets. And we understand that we save ourselves. We understand that no one's coming to rescue us. We are our own resources. We still want justice. The police officers weren't arrested, but can we change some policies? Can we change the way that business looks like for LMPD? That can be a small piece of justice in and of itself.
The marchers returned to Jefferson Square before nightfall tonight. In the years since the decision from Daniel Cameron, investigations have begun and officers involved have left the police department. It started not long after the decision on September 28th when grand jurors in the case filed motions for the grand jury recordings to be released. They were ultimately made public. In January of this year, then LMPD Chief Yvette Gentry officially fired Detectives Miles Cosgrove and Joshua Janes for their connections to the case. At the end of April, the Department of Justice announced a formal investigation into LMPD looking into use of force, warrants, and policies. It's still ongoing. Sergeant John Mattingly also shot that night, retired from the department in June. And later that month, the Metro Police Merit Board upheld Janes's termination. He has now filed a lawsuit over that ruling. And today, the only officer charged in connection with the Breonna-Taylor case had his bond cut in half. Brett Hankison is charged with wanton endangerment for the bullets that were fired into a neighboring apartment, not Breonna Taylor's. During a court hearing, the judge approved the reduction by $7,500. It was noted that he has not had any violations as he's been awaiting his February 1st trial. Hankison has already paid the full bond, so he'll receive the difference back. While filing for the bond reduction, Hankison's attorney said the money will help him meet his financial obligations because he's had a hard time finding employment.